Hello and welcome to Trip Connected. I am here with John Barlow, the owner of Vida Tequila, to talk about Vida Tequila as well as a couple other things. But John, there is an elephant in the room that I think we've got to get out before we can talk about tequila.
Of course.
Which I'm shocked because I really like talking about alcohol. This is like our third episode where alcohol was like the center of the topic. But so John Barlow, I got to ask, what is it like being the husband of a real housewife of Salt Lake City?
It is. It's very interesting. Put it that way. I am probably more of a sounding board than anything. It's funny because we just did Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen last week, and he actually asked me that, and my answer was as long as I'm Lisa's Real House husband, that's all that matters. And so I really hope it stays that way.
So I got to ask you, obviously the Housewives, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake, spend a lot of time together on set. Mm-hmm. Do the husbands ever get together, and what is that like when you guys get together?
I am very lucky. The husbands are all cool.
Okay.
You see a lot of the drama between the wives, and it's not just in Salt Lake. It's in pretty much every franchise. And not in other franchises, there are some that the husbands get along real well. Some the husbands don't get along. I feel fortunate because they're all cool. We've got Jen's husband is Sharif Shah. He's a coach at the U. Whitney's husband is Justin. And then you've got Meredith Mark's husband. That's Seth. And we all get along real well. We've never met Mary's husband, and we don't expect to. But we do get, what was it? In season 1, they filmed Sharif, Seth, and I all just shooting the breeze and having a good time. And that was a ton of fun doing that. And then in this second season, they actually had a guys' night out filmed where it was Justin, Sharif, Seth, and I, and we were at Bodega.
Okay. And
it was great. It's funny because they filmed us for probably 3 or 4 hours, but they showed maybe 5 minutes. And it was a riot. Seth is he's crazy funny.
So after seeing this, is there any thought or any desire for you to get into acting or something within that realm? Obviously, you're very good on camera and audio, and I've watched season 1. So unlike me, everybody tells me I've got a face and voice for radio. So I'm kind of doomed with that. But
no, not at all. I'm focused on our businesses.
Okay.
I don't think I have the acting chops. It's funny because it's not as intense as far as filming goes.
Okay.
When they film, a lot of people ask, do they set cameras up throughout the house and watch us 24/7? It's not. It's very structured. It's very time consuming. Obviously, more for Lisa than for me. Mm-hmm. She can be filming anywhere from 60 to 70 hours a week, just depending on what's going on. And then on top of that, you have her getting ready, like she gets glammed and everything. And so it could be a 7-8 hour day for her. And she's still doing work with Vita and our other businesses. And for me, they do a lot of filming at our house, and it could be like 3 or 4 hours for me to film. And then they only show like 5 minutes, or they don't show anything at all.
Interesting. So how much prep time is it when they come to your house? Are they setting up for hours before they begin?
They show up about an hour before they start filming, and make sure lighting is okay. They have lights that they bring in, getting different angles in the house and everything. What a lot of people don't know is we started renovating our house before season 1 even started filming. Before the show was even announced or anything, we'd already planned on renovating. We thought we were going to have about a year and a half, and we ended up having 4 months before they started filming. So season 1, we were renovating the whole time. And it was tough because there was only so many areas in the house that they could film.
So do you have to have your house, is it like having your house up for sale all the time? It has to be clean every single day?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. And it's not so hard on me because I'm fine with keeping things clean. But man, our boys.
Oh, I can imagine. Your boys are 17 and
17 now. Jack just turned 17 in October, and Henry is 9, turning 10 next month.
Oh boy, those are messy ages too.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
Like a tornado when they walk through the house.
They for some reason when they take their clothes off to shower, they think they can just leave them anywhere they want.
Well, and they're eating all the time too.
Yep. So. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I think, what was it, season 1, I think the crew would camp out in Henry's room, and I swear almost every time they'd come out with some sort of food remnants that Henry had left in the room.
That's great. We may come back to that because it's a great topic.
Sure.
But we're going to shift over to Vida Tequila.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'm fascinated. So when I was doing research, 2003, you're in Mexico, and somebody approached you about this business. Now, when I'm in Mexico, people only approach me to buy weed. So I'm curious.
There's a lot of business in weed
There's
now.
a lot of business in weed now, too. It's changed. Maybe I should have listened back then, so I might not be working for a newspaper. But so tell me, what was that like, and how did that conversation go, and then how did it go from 2003 to 2007?
So we actually weren't really in Mexico and when someone approached us. So what it really going back, trying to think of the best way to put this. I went to school at BYU, which is totally weird with a lot of different things.
We're going to get into that too.
I'm sure, which is fine. So I did an internship with a guy. He was a general manager of a newspaper in Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
Serial entrepreneur. He was working for the newspaper to try to do a turnaround for them, and I think sell the company or something. A friend of mine from here in Utah introduced me to him, and he's like, yeah, sure, come on out for however long, and I'll let you shadow me. We got to be really good friends and everything, and when my internship was over, he's like, hey, let's keep in touch. He's like, I like you. I think we could do some fun things together. And so I went back to school, graduated, ended up taking a job. I worked for a hitch manufacturing company, learned about work, goals, all that stuff. When I was done there, I just happened to reach out to him. And he's like, hey, I've got a list of projects I'm working on. Take a look, see if you want to do anything with me. And I told Lisa about them, and she's the one that has the foresight. Because she's like, tequila's sexy, and it's probably just going to get better. And this was back, like you said, early 2000s.
Tequila wasn't hot back then.
No, and that's exactly what we say. It was before tequila was cool.
Yeah.
There is now, when we started, there was probably about 300, 400 brands available in the U.S. Now I think there's in the thousands.
Wow.
And a lot of them are celebrity laden.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing I tell people that's I think is impressive is you have a lot of these celebrities getting into alcohol.
Sure.
Whereas Lisa was a business person before she became a celebrity. And so to me, that's quite a bit different and impressive. But yeah, so we started working on it in 2003, launched 2007, and we've got our fingerprint over everything, more Lisa than I do. She's the one that named it. Woke up in bed at 3 a.m. after we'd been going over ideas for a couple weeks, and she's like, it's got to be Vita, it's got to be life. And it has become our life.
Interesting.
There's 7 years between our boys,
yeah.
And there's a reason.
Okay, makes sense.
And the bottle that we have right now, it's actually one that she designed.
Okay.
Something that I always enjoy telling people when we do different tastings and stuff like that is we went through probably 20 different molds to get to this bottle, and we thought it was going to be more of a 6-month process. It's closer to 4 or 5 years. And the mold right before this one, she actually took blue painter's tape and put it around the bottle to have her vision on it. We sent it to the producer, and he said it was millimeters of change, but it came to this bottle.
And where's the bottle produced at?
In Mexico.
It's in Mexico?
Yeah. So everything now we have is produced in Mexico. So the toppers are Mexico, the bottle, and then obviously the juice.
Interesting. So 1,000 tequila brands out there.
Yep.
So very crowded space.
Yeah.
How do you stick out in that space? I mean, obviously there's price differences, and there's the low end, the medium, and then there's the very high end. Tell me about that, and how does yours compare to some of the other brands?
So there's different categories with tequila. We're in the ultra premium category, and that's based off of mainly price range, but also quality.
Okay.
So we have 3 different styles. I've got the Añejo here, but we've got a Blanco, which is not aged. We have a Reposado that's aged 9 months in American white oak barrels, and then our Añejo is aged 2 years in French oak barrels. And the price ranges from roughly $50 up to about $65, bumping up each style. And
which is still affordable for a premium tequila.
It is. It's trying to think. One thing that we feel sets us apart, is we double distill all 3 styles, and we actually cut the heads and the tails. So we're discarding about 40% of the juice that's distilled. And so the heads are the first 20%, and that gets rid of a lot of the metal taste from the distillation equipment. And then the tails is the last 20%. And that's where it starts to turn into the bad alcohol. And so it's a lot smoother, a lot cleaner. It's so funny because we've been to a lot of different events, hosted a lot of different events, and I kid you not, people are double fisting the cocktails. And I've gone up and I'm like, hey, how do you like Vida Tequila? Oh, I hate tequila. I can't stand tequila. I'm like, well, how do you like your drink? Oh, I love it. I'm like, it's because you're drinking good tequila. Because we still have people that are like, oh, tequila, and I drank that in college. I could never drink it again. It was just different quality of tequila.
Well, I think a lot of us got into tequila by tequila shots.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's our perception of it. And it
Yes.
does go down pretty rough within the shot format.
Yeah.
So,
especially with, like the lower end ones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of burn. With Vita, it's more of a sipping tequila. Neat on the rocks. Obviously can mix to make some great cocktails. But it's been a lot of fun. I mean, Lisa and I, it's been enjoyable working together. Obviously not every day is enjoyable, but it's been great.
There's a reason I come to work every day and don't work remote anymore. So I don't know a lot about tequila, but so 2007 to 2021, obviously, wine, I'm more familiar with wine.
Okay.
Every year is a different vintage and based on the weather and there are a lot of factors in it. What are the factors in tequila from one year to the next and how it's going to taste?
That's a great question. So it's always agave, and people don't realize this, but there's thousands of strains of agave. And what I like to compare it to is like apples. There's different types of apples, and they all have different flavors or tastes. And ours is 100% Tequila Weber Blue variety, which is actually the highest quality of agave. And we grow ours in about 6,000 feet above sea level. So it's in the highlands. So you have highland tequila, lowland tequila. Highland tequila ends up being a little bit more on the sweet side.
Okay.
Lowland tequila, you have the mineral runoff, so it's a little bit more earthy, kind of like with wine.
Sure.
And so, it's grown, harvested the same pretty much all the time. The only time we've ever run into factors, and I think it was before we even got into it, was there was a freeze in Mexico, and so it killed a lot of the crops. We're fortunate enough that our distillery partner, with our distillery partner, we own all of our crops in rotation.
That was my next question.
And so we're not dependent. We do have other distilleries or other, not distilleries, but other farms, agave farms, that if we need more, we can source from them. But we have over 1 million crops in rotation. And what a lot of people don't realize with tequila and agave, again, with the apples, like you can go to an apple tree in September, October, pluck an apple. Next year, go back, pluck another apple. With agave, once it's pulled out of the ground, it's done.
Okay.
And so you always have to be replanting. And the
so
thing,
you're rotating.
Always putting a new plant in to replace what you take out.
How long before the new plant is ripe enough to be able to use?
So that's an interesting thing with what's going on with the explosion of tequila. So to get to full maturation, it's a 8 to 10 year process.
Okay.
And the first 2 years it's in a plant, or not a plant, into a pot. Then it gets strong enough to put into the ground. So then you're talking another 6 to 8 years. And then on top of that, like I said, once it pulls out, you've got to put another plant in there to replace it. And what's going on right now, we let our plants go to full maturation, and a lot of companies, because they want to get on the shelf, they're harvesting early.
Yeah.
And I compare it to like strawberries. If you bite into a strawberry that's ripe, it's juicy, it's sweet. Bite into one that's not ripe, it's bitter. And it's the same with agave, because agave is a type of fruit.
So does that mean the agave crops are growing down in Mexico? Meaning, if it's 8 to 10 years and tequila is getting more and more popular, they've got to be growing more agave.
They are growing more agave, and there is there's the worry of an agave shortage because it is a finite plant, if you want to call it that.
And typically when things like that explode, a crop like that, the agave changes because they try to rush it to market and they make changes to whatever the balance of it is. Is that happening in tequila?
It is. It's not happening with us.
Okay.
Because like I said, with us owning our own crops and everything, we are very specific on wanting our quality to stay the same. Whereas other brands, they just want to get on the shelf.
Sure.
Which I can't blame them. I mean, when we were going through our bottle change, I was going crazy because it was 4 or 5 years without really having any good sales. And so I understand that. But yeah, no, it's something that we are all staying on top of to make sure that the quality doesn't diminish, but then we can also plan for the future.
So I know a lot of distilleries we've talked to, they pattern their lines off of a very popular national brand or a very good one. Is there one that you've patterned the taste after?
No. We've done everything on our own, wanted it after us. Actually, it's funny because the bottle that we had when we first started, we didn't know anything about tequila. I honestly had never, I think I'd tried tequila once before we got into Vita. And we were told, okay, use this bottle. It's a traditional tequila bottle. So we just said, okay. Come to find out, it looked like a mix between Patron and Don Julio. And so when we would go to accounts or prospective accounts, we put it on the bar and they'd say, oh, well, we already have Patron. We don't need a new Patron or anything like that. And even though we would say, well, try it, taste it, we think it's better, this and that, the bottle was a hindrance. And so that's why we had to rebrand. But this recipe, it's something that the distillery created just for us. And, we've been very happy with it. It's all 3 styles are award winning. And the quality hasn't changed at all in that time span. You would kind of assume that it might, but it stayed fantastic.
So awards, talk about some of the awards. You said award winning. So
sure, yeah. So we've won different industry awards, WSWA, agave.net, and then one of the things that was really fun, our Reposado. This is going to sound dumb because we didn't realize it. Someone called us and told us, but our Reposado actually was placed in the top 50 spirits, and I think this was in 2013 or 14. And we didn't even know about it. And it's not just tequilas, it was spirits. So top 50 spirits for that year.
Wow.
And so that was, for us, we were just delighted.
So 2003, 2007 is when the company started. When were you kind of at full production and kind of a real distillery spirits company?
Well, we started working on it in 2003. We had to let everything age and everything. Yeah. So we were full blown 2007. We were fulfilling orders late 2007, early 2008.
Okay. And fulfilling them, I'm assuming you had not a lot of distribution points at that point.
No. So when we launched, we were distributing in Chicago and New York.
Okay.
One thing we thought that Utah would be a no-brainer because we lived here.
Yeah.
And come to find out, our Blanco was not allowed in until 2009.
Come to find out, liquor laws are a little tough here, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
I've learned that. I've been here a year. So Chicago, I'm assuming you were at Benny's in Chicago?
Yep.
Okay.
We were at
great
Benny's.
Place.
Yeah. And, had a great run. We ended up pulling out of that market.
Okay.
The distributor we were with got bought out.
Okay.
And so we kind of pivoted a little. And but yeah, like I said, with Utah 2009, and then it wasn't until 2010, 2011 that they allowed the Añejo and the Reposado to be on the shelves.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of ins and outs to liquor laws here.
So where you're not in Illinois market anymore? So
we're not.
What markets are you in?
So we are. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it, but right now we will be found nationwide in Total Wine & More stores.
Yep, I saw in Total Wine.
Yeah, and so what we did is when we were rebranding, before we started rebranding, we were probably in about 12 markets around the U.S. And we decided to pull out of market except for Utah because we lived here obviously, and then also we were in Nevada. It was easy to go down and visit accounts, just because we didn't want confusion on the shelf. And so, and then after we launched the new bottle, we were just taking our time to do it. And then with the show, we were selling in Total Wine in DC and Maryland and Nevada. And then when the show was announced, we started talking to them, and they said, "Hey, let's just put it in all the stores."
That's great.
And so, it's been great.
And they're exploding across the country.
Total Wine is incredible.
I miss my Total Wine, so trust me.
Yeah. No, and you said you were in Phoenix before here, right? Yeah, there's like 11 stores throughout Arizona.
Oh, yeah. I used to go to their corporate headquarters a lot, and I did work with them.
Okay.
Was it Bethesda?
Yep.
Yeah, so they're good group to work with.
They're great.
Yeah.
So we've, launched with them, soft launch in Arizona, California, and Texas. Yep. And then by early 2022, we should be in all their stores.
That's great.
Yeah.
And they're big time distributors as far as the volume there. Are you in Bevmo as well then?
We're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Lisa and I are still very hands-on. And so it's, we're trying to grow it smart.
Yeah.
Obviously with the show, we have people all around the world that are asking daily through social media, where can I get this? We have a group in South Africa that wants to distribute us. We've had groups where else? Canada. So we should be opening up the Canadian market.
That's great.
Probably Q2 of 2022.
So I can't go to your website and buy it then right now.
No, and that's a weird area right now because typically you can't go to direct to consumer.
Sure.
There are workarounds with that, with like Drizzly and some of these.
Is that Utah? Is it a Utah law? Because I know like a winery I can go direct to consumer.
Yeah, well, it depends on the state.
Okay.
Because I think even Utah, like you can't technically be part of a wine club and have it shipped
here.
You cannot.
Yes, trust me.
I know
they're all on hold for me right now. So
yeah. And but we even at other states.
Yeah.
Every state, it's interesting because people. I'm defending Utah for a second. People think Utah is like the worst state with alcohol laws, and there's other states that are actually harder.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And it's interesting because each state has different things. Like, just for example, in Nevada, you can and I would do this, be in Total Wine handing out samples.
Yep.
And, it's a $50 bottle. Some people don't want to pay $50 and end up not liking it, so we would sample it out. California, you would think it'd be just as open as Nevada. You can only sample wine and beer. You can't sample spirits. And so
it's the liquor laws state by state, because the Total Wine was coming into Wisconsin, and when I lived in Wisconsin, we were waiting on them. It was all about getting permits and the sampling.
Yes.
Because their whole strategy is around sampling. Total Wines
for sure. Yeah.
And they do a ton of business that way, but some states it's just tiny. Some states it's no sampling, which is kind of crazy. So
there was at Total Wine, I can't remember if it was Arizona or Vegas. There on a Friday night, I was one of probably 12 spirits there sampling, and they had Boar's Head. So, I mean, it was a full-on party.
Well, so what you do in Arizona is you go to Costco first to get your stomach filled with food of samples, and then you go to Total Wine to drink.
Yeah.
So it's a free day of drinking and eating,
yep.
which is kind of cool. So how many employees does Vida Tequila have?
Right now, we've got probably about half dozen throughout the U.S.
Okay.
And then here in Utah, we've got a couple that work kind of contract basis. And then you have Lisa and I. I mean, I still go out and visit accounts.
Okay.
And if we do tasting dinners, we try to be there to host them and really meet people and talk with people and everything.
That's great. I love tasting dinners.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
So
It's a lot of fun.
So where would we find a tasting dinner information about where you're going to be poured at?
I'm trying to think if we have any. I don't know if we have any coming up here. Some of the recent ones we've done, one was at Stratford proper.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun. We weren't able to be there because we had to be in, I think we were in California. But we've done them with Franck's. We had some really fun ones at Franck's.
I think I read the reviews on the Franck's one. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. And then the Wild Rose out in Daybreak, or Harriman. I think it's Harriman. And it's just all around. It just depends on what we can do.
I think I saw one of the Charleston in Draper. There's a picture. Yeah, which is a great new restaurant.
It is.
So I like Charleston a lot. So, in regards to buying it here, state liquor stores.
Yeah, state liquor stores. So there's, again, with Utah, there's general listed and limited listed. And so our all three styles are general listed now.
Okay.
But for a long time, it was just the Blanco. And what that really means is it was in pretty much every store, and it could go on sale.
Okay.
If it's limited, then it's, and you might have heard this from some of the other people.
I have not, actually.
But the limited listing just means it's in a handful of stores, and it can't go on sale. And so it's really huge to get general listed. And again, the show helped with this with the state because they knew there was going to be demand. And we have, so pretty much every month we have one style on sale. And it depends on the store, but we have at least two, sometimes all three styles in all the stores.
So
around.
the Draper DABC, I can buy all three?
That one, I don't know if they have the Reposado there right now,
Okay.
but they do carry the Añejo and the Blanco.
Okay.
Dealing with glass shortages and everything
Sure.
and supply chains, our Blanco has been sold out of the state for probably about a month or two, but we did have 1,000 cases delivered last week.
I'm not sure to throw my glass bottles away or just sell them to people like you guys.
Yeah.
So I may make more money by just holding on to them.
A lot of people make lights from them.
Oh, my goodness,
they've done all sorts of things.
Yeah. So when you look at the three and your favorites on the three, I'm just curious, people that haven't drank tequila in a while, that their experience was me, college doing shots, whatever.
Yep.
How would you recommend introducing yourself to tequila? The best way to ease into it or to taste it?
I would say the best way is slowly. What we treat it like a wine.
Okay.
And so, I swirl it just like you do a wine. Take a smell, or get the nose. And what I do too, we talk about this when we do dinners, is hold it to your nose, take in some of the aromas, pull it away, and then bring it back. And then you get more aromas, and then just let a drop get on your tongue, and it opens up the palate.
Interesting.
And because a lot of people think they have to shoot it or just take a gulp or whatever, just let a drop get on there, and then you take a little sip, and it's just ease your way into it.
Yeah, I think people think of margaritas or they think of shots.
They do.
Yeah.
No, they do.
So as a tequila company, do you look at going in restaurants as a strategy or going in stores? What's the key, or is it a combination?
It's a combination. Yeah,
okay.
Total combination. I think, what is it? I think it's off premise, which is liquor stores, drives on premise, which is where you like restaurants and bars.
Yep.
Definitely right now for us, our play is focusing on off-premise.
Okay.
Especially with the show, because we have people that are contacting us. Where can we buy it around the U.S. at different stores? But you can't go away from on-premise. Some of the local restaurants around here, Red Iguana, Taqueria 27, a lot of these have drinks on the menu with Vita, which is great. And so it's something that we strive for both.
Great. Yeah, and then a lot of new restaurants. The restaurant scene is popping up.
Utah. I've been in Utah for probably 20 years now, and never envisioned staying here or living here. I love Utah now. The restaurant scene has changed so much and just gotten so much better.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived in a lot of cities, and this one is it's been tougher to find the great restaurants, but there are definitely some great ones, and then there's some that are emerging.
Yeah.
And then the distillery and brewery scene here is
insane,
exploding.
Yes.
So there's this underworld that if you don't see it necessarily, but they're all within like a mile of this building here too, which is interesting.
It's great. I mean, there's people that you think of Colorado or something for breweries or craft beer and all that, and Utah definitely puts them to the test.
Well, I tell people I moved to Salt Lake City, and everybody says, "Oh, so you don't drink anymore?" And I'm like, actually, this market's actually fairly good. And now that we've gotten involved with this event, we're dealing with a lot of the breweries and distilleries, and it's fascinating.
It is.
They all tell me that. And this next question is, a couple of them we've had in to talk. They said, "Oh, it's not a money making project by any means. It's a long term, and it's a passion play."
It is. Yeah. It's Lisa and I. We've gone through our ups and downs, just like any business does, and probably more Lisa, to her, credit, she sees the long-term vision, and it's something that we just enjoy doing. The liquor industry is cool. It's still kind of mom and pop, handshake, old school, which I appreciate. I think it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's not something we have people that are like, "Wait, you've been in it how long? Where's your jet?" It's like, okay, we're not Clooney, we're not,
your name's
Patron.
not Tito.
and what, exactly. And what people don't realize is that, like take a Patron. I think they sold their last 70% for almost $6 billion. Patron was around for 25 years or so before that happened. Same with like Google even. People think they see right now Google being so huge, they don't realize all that led up to.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So gotta ask, so BYU, BYU.
Yeah.
So you started a tequila company.
I haven't been asked back for any business seminars.
I was just curious if you've lost friends, acquaintances, family members.
I've probably gained more friends.
Okay.
we get the way I like to tell people is we get invited to a lot of parties and we get excluded from some parties. But no, it's it's funny because I lived in Texas, graduated high school from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, came up here for school to go to BYU. From a religious standpoint, I did actually serve an LDS mission. People laugh because I served it in Vegas.
But there goes the tequila. That explains everything.
Yeah, exactly. And but it was a business thing that we just decided to do. Again, from a religious perspective, Lisa and I still consider ourselves LDS. We're raising our boys LDS, but our version. If you saw season 1,
I did 2.0.
Seth Marks is actually the one that coined that.
Yeah, the 2.0 version.
Called us Mormon 2.0. And, we're just, we do it our way.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So I'm going to skip real quick to Salt City Best Fest. So we started talking about a month ago about this, and then we're going to do some cool programming around Vita. We're going to have an ice luge. Have you guys done an ice luge before?
We did one at Aspen Food and Wine Festival, but it was back in like 2011 or something like that. Okay. I'm excited for this one.
I've never done one, so this could be fun. It could be a horrible mistake. I have no idea. We could be sued. I have no idea. So tell us about what to expect there. Now, I know you guys are going to be doing a seminar. Or is it you or Lisa that's going to do the seminar?
Probably both of us.
Okay, good. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think both of us. I mean, I'm sure Lisa's more of a draw than I am. I know Lisa's more of a draw than I am. But yeah, we'll both be there.
Okay, and then we're going to have the third floor. We've got an actual ice bar will be up there.
Okay.
So Green Mountain Grills has an ice bar, and then we have the Vida Tequila Luge.
Awesome. And
we're going to be serving barbecue in the atrium area.
It's a good
combination. You're going to be right outside the VIP area, which will be kind of cool.
That's great.
Yeah. So are all three brands going to be served there?
That's what I'm planning on.
Okay.
They're all going to be available, put it that way. I like as far as, for the event. If it was right now, we'd have two.
Yeah, you mentioned that the one was right. So we could serve other drinks too. So we could make a specialty Vita drink.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Anything you mentioned the Mexican Mule. That sounds like a pretty good drink for this actual event.
Yeah, the Mexican Mule is it's easy and it's delicious. It's something that's refreshing. So all you need is ginger beer, and we love Bundaberg ginger beer.
Okay.
A splash of lime and tequila.
Nice.
And it's super easy.
Did you bring the ginger beer? That sounds pretty
I should have. I know.
That actually sounds really good. So
I should have. And the thing that's nice, because you get some bartenders that love to make like a real complex drink, which tastes great. But then you go home and you try to recreate it, and you're on fire. And so with the Mexican Mule, it's just, like I said, it's just easy.
Same with margaritas, though. Margaritas, I mean, it's the lazy part of everybody. It's so easy to buy the mix.
Yes.
But to make it the way they make it at the restaurant, it's almost impossible.
I probably should not say this, but because Lisa may get mad at me, but Fresca with tequila is awesome.
Nice.
And the great thing about it too is if you're calorie conscious, there's no calories in Fresca, and so it's like the quick go-to margarita,
it's like
almost.
Tito Club Soda, which is why everybody went to that.
Yeah.
Or vodka Club Soda.
Yeah, and Lisa actually, because of calories, she loves our Blanco and tonic water or club soda.
Interesting.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Well, let's shift really quickly. So I want to talk. You have some other products on the table. You guys, not enough with one, not enough with a reality TV show. You got to get into other things.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
So we don't seem to stand still, sit still, or whatever. We
had time between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. to kill.
I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. I actually asked Lisa if we could slow down a couple of years ago, and she laughed at me. So no, we actually with Vita, we actually have another tequila brand. That's specific only to Total Wine and More.
Okay.
And it's a different recipe from Vita, but it's called Ciudad. And it's the same ultra premium sipping tequila. It's actually kind of a square bottle with a map of Mexico City on the back.
Okay.
And that one, so we've got that. We're coming out with what we call a shelf grab tequila, so about $20, $25.
Okay.
It won't be as high quality, but it's still going to be the same agave. And it's going to still be smooth and easy drinking, but people won't be scared to pull it off the shelf and go home without sampling it first. And then about 3 years ago, Lisa was approached by WME, William Morris Endeavors. They're the ones that they're the agents for like Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, all those guys. Anyway, one of the owners approached Lisa to see if she could help a couple of their celebrities create a women's hair care, lotion, skincare line, and everything.
Is that the Luke's brand?
It was N&B.
N&B, okay.
Yeah, so N&B. And so Lisa created that, and she actually just sold it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And so that's off the plate, but she's already got ones to replace it. Yeah. And so the way that Fresh Wolf came around is Jack, at the time, was probably 14. He actually sat in on a couple of meetings with Lisa and these celebrities to game plan and strategize. And so after one of the meetings, he pulled Lisa and I aside. He's like, hey, you're doing this for them. Can you do it for me and Henry? And we're like, yeah, there's no reason not to. Why don't you go home, come up with a business plan, pitch us on it. And Jack and Henry are amazing. They take after Lisa from a business perspective, which is great. Jack, he's been doing, his versions of business plans since he was probably like 5 or 6.
Wow.
So as a 14-year-old, he came back and he had some spreadsheets, numbers, ideas as far as business plan goes. And we're like, all right, let's move forward with it. And we're like, we got to come up with a name. And so Henry actually is the one that named it Fresh Wolf. And it's because that's what Jack nicknamed him, was Fresh Wolf.
Interesting.
And so Henry's Xbox name is Fresh Wolf 463 or something like that.
That's awesome.
And so we created Fresh Wolf. It's salon quality.
Okay.
A lot of people think that it's for boys because Jack and Henry are involved. It's actually men's. So anybody 3 years old and older can use it. And it's we have a body wash, shampoo, conditioner, pomade, hair wax out right now. The scent of all of it is similar to Dior Sauvage.
Okay.
So it smells really good.
Sure.
It's actually sold in Lunatic Fringe salons here locally. And then one special thing with Fresh Wolf is when we were talking to Jack and Henry about it, we asked them to come up with a give back program. We want them to learn how to start businesses, run businesses, but we also want them to understand the charity side of business. And so they came back with foster care.
That's great.
Charity. And my background, I was in foster care for a very short stint as a baby, and then I was adopted. And so I have a positive ending to my story, but
Sure.
there are a lot of kids out there that don't. And these foster kids want to feel like they're the same as
Sure.
kids that aren't in foster care. And so what we do is every product that's purchased, we have a 2-in-1 shampoo body wash that we donate to foster care.
That's great.
And it's something that they can take with them. A lot of times these kids, they're not sure where they're going to be next week, next month.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have a backpack. So we wanted something that would fit in their backpack, be salon, professional quality, help them feel good about themselves. And so
That's great.
it's something that
That's
we've
amazing.
done.
So long term for these products. So you're in Lunatic Fringe now. You're
Mm-hmm.
in Salt Lake City. Other expansion plans? Any retailers looked at picking it up? Or
We've talked with a few distribution companies in California.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we're on Amazon and freshwolf.com.
sounds like you need to be on Shark Tank, maybe.
Maybe Jackwood.
Jackwood?
Yeah. Actually, Jack's talked about wanting to do that.
Facing Mr. Wonderful might be kind of interesting.
It would be interesting.
Yeah.
But they've done real well. I mean, Jack, he's 17. He plays basketball. He's going to school, goes on some dates, but he still squeezes in time to do social posts for Fresh Wolf and everything. And they're learning a lot. They both have goals of the kind of car they want, or Henry now, for in 9 years or 6 years or whatever. And so we're like, okay, if you want that, you got to set some goals to reach those levels.
That's amazing. Great life lessons you guys are teaching him, sounds like.
Trying. Yeah.
All right, so last thing, so we do have equipped with a disco ball for this segment.
Nice.
We got to set the tone a little bit. So we could edit this section out, who knows, based on your take. But so what's like the most bizarre moment on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that you guys have experienced thus far?
Oh my gosh, bizarre. There's been a few.
Okay. You can name a couple. This could be really good.
So bizarre, kind of funny. I wish they would have left it in. So Guys Night. This is a good example. So Guys Night, it was again Seth, Sharif, Justin, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
We were at Bodega. For anybody that has not gone to Bodega, I highly recommend it, and get the mussels and frites.
Okay.
That's what I had. And the other three guys all wish that they ordered what I got. Anyway, they were serving Vita Old Fashions.
Okay.
So another thing, like with the drinks, is you don't have to stay with a certain type of spirit for drinks. And so they make a killer Vita Old Fashioned. Seth, I think, put down probably 6 or 7.
Okay.
I have promised Lisa that I would do what I can and not be stupid, so I had maybe 1. And Justin, I think, it probably about 6 or 7 also. Anyway, Seth started, do you know who Mel Kiper is on ESPN?
Sure, of course.
High energy, this and that, this guy, blah, blah, blah. So Seth all of a sudden...
He's got some hair for these products, Mel Kiper.
He does, yes, he does.
Good spokesperson for
he
you
would
guys.
be. He would be.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. So Seth decided to do his Mel Kiper interpretation on porn. And it's specifically talking about Ron Jeremy. And if I could replicate it, I would, but I don't think I could. But just here he comes, he's got a beard, he's going after this lady, and just going crazy. And we were just laughing, but at the same time in my head I'm cringing because I'm like, this could be aired, me laughing about it.
I take it got cut out. It was not part of the 5 to 7 minutes.
Well, the funny thing, so it was not part of the episode.
Yeah.
But what Bravo's been doing a lot of is on social media, they'll put out deleted scenes or scenes, unseen scenes.
Yep.
They did have that in there.
Wow, and TV's gotten so liberal with what they're able to put out these days, which is crazy.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, I'm sure I've done or said stuff that's stupid. What was
You've
it?
always looked fine, the ones I've seen. I haven't watched that episode 2.
Yeah, no, I try to make sure.
I'm going to go back and watch that one, though, to see.
Yeah, do that. I can't remember which episode it is this season.
Usually you're in a car, it's carpooling, and Lisa's telling you about things she has to do that day, and it's seems like a very busy time.
That's pretty much
the
my
scenes
week.
I've seen you in.
Yeah,
so.
no, we do a lot of, Lisa gets a lot of flack and a lot of attention because we're a fast food family.
Okay,
You mentioned you cook. I'm the one that cooks in my family also, or in our house, but we don't always have time. And the thing is we do end up going from one fast food to another so that everybody gets what they want.
Oh, yeah. And in Draper, it's getting pretty busy down there, too.
It is.
123 I stay off of these days.
Oh, so. And 1300 East.
Oh,
I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah.
You might as well be on the freeway.
Yeah. So, Salt City Best Fest, Vida Tequila will be there.
Excited, yes.
So, John and Lisa both. We have two sessions, 11 to 3 and 4 to 8. Got to get the times right. Some sort of a seminar with both of you, which will be great. I can't wait to go.
That'll be awesome.
Can't wait to learn how to drink tequila the right way. I don't think a lot of us know how to do it. But also the ice luge is going to be something pretty cool, too.
That'll be very neat.
Anything else for
I appreciate you guys having me involved.
That's great.
Even though Lisa's not here, I'm glad you let me come in.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah.
Thanks for including Vita. We're excited. We love doing everything we can local.
Yeah.
Utah is our home. We try to do everything we can to be involved here in Utah, and we love the opportunities like this.
Well, I can't wait to try some Vida Tequila.
Can't wait to hear what you think.
And not do shots or use it in a margarita.
Nope. You know what? Throw some ice in a glass.
I'll try to do it nice, but the Mexican Mule sounded pretty good too.
Yeah, I'll get you reposado for that.
That'd be great. Awesome. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.